Start streaming. Let's see. Should be streaming now. Make sure it looks and sounds alright. If I can hear everything. Sick. That's what I want. Put that there. Let's get this one going to monitor. Post it on the Reddits and stuff real quick, so that way any of you guys who want to watch can watch. Post it on here real quick. Sorry y'all are sitting through this for a bit. Okay, live chat's up. Okay. Let's see. I got snacks, I got drinks. I have got VR. I've got a full battery, and we are going to get going. We had some unusually long loading times to get in here today. And also I had somebody come over and spend longer than I expected. So we're going to cut it back a couple of hours. We're going to do like a 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. evening flight. And that was the plan originally. But that got pushed for whatever reason. So first thing first, why is there multiple Cowan 125s now? Well, that's a 206. No, I was just seeing that other one. Okay, so welcome everybody and anybody. My name is Matt, and today we're starting a series where I fly literally around the world. It's going to be about 300 plus hours of doing this. I am looking forward to it, despite what you may think. Yeah, nothing to it but to get to it. We'll start out, we'll do H125 today, and we'll kind of go down the line as we go, change around, bounce around from day to day, and yeah, should be fun. So let's get it configured up. We're going to top it off with fuel, because that's going to be our big thing. We're already set up for passengers. Livery, I don't care because they don't allow any neat livery setups. There you go, more or less all the fuel. I'm not too worried about management of it with our trip today, but we'll be keeping an eye on it. Flight conditions. We gotta set a starting place first. We'll be starting out at Hampton, KHMP, Henry County Airport, which is more or less my local. I was there today, actually, watching a couple of Hueys and Cobras do their thing. So we're going to set it near as just 5 o'clock as we can get it. Almost had it, but we'll call that good. That's our departure. I've got a couple places that we're going to stop today. First thing first, we're going to visit my friend at PDK. Whenever this starts loading in, it's bad load times today. I don't know why. The weather's great here. Couldn't tell you why. There we go, come on. We're going to visit him over here at his work, which they haven't updated all the new stuff for where it should be yet, but his work's here-ish. Or can I just do an arrival? I'd like to get up to Nashville, which we got plenty to get up here. I want to get to their, this one here. Now we may have to just freeball our locations going on, because I don't know if we can add waypoints as we fly. I'll just have to be smart about it. But we'll let this load in real quick. So, I will say if you're not watching live and you're coming back to watch this later, first of all, thank you. Much appreciated. If you don't know me, my name is Matt. My full-time normal real person job is doing props and armor work in the film industry. The show that I was just on, which was Will Trent Season 3, is now done for the season. And I've got nothing to do until Season 4. Of course, somebody may call me tomorrow and want me to come work for them. That's okay. Set as a rival. Let's see, we can add a point here now. Peachtree to Cab. Boy, these loading times are horrible. Cloud-based gaming, you figured a bad day to start being really picky. But anyways, in an effort to keep myself busy during my time off and to keep myself sane and to get a little bit of practice in and to see the world as cheaply as possible, if you don't count the cost of the PC and the simulator and all the peripherals, it's probably the cheapest way to go explore. Cool. I can do ads. That's what I want. Next, I want to be up here in Canton. We're going to drop by another place up here. Got a few spots, and I want to try to get some spots every single episode. Hopefully it won't take as long to get set up, because this is ridiculous. But if you've been here since day one with this, cloud-based gaming, we love it. We're going to be looking right in this area. It's a helicopter company here in Georgia called Helicopters Express. Yeah. Who appears to slowly be taking over the world of heavy lift CH 54S64 helicopter operations. They basically have the Erickson fleet. I believe they just bought out the Siller Bros aerial contracting setup for theirs. So, good for them. Holy crap, guys, I'm sorry. This is unreal. Why? Why is this so bad? I don't know what to tell you. Hopefully, in the next ones, this should be fixed. This is a problem on their end for sure. If you want to, click forward 5 minutes. We're going to be here for about 4 hours tonight, so you're not going to hurt my feelings if you fast forward 5 minutes if you're watching this later. But for me, I'm stuck here until we can get this marked out and pre-flighted out. I'm almost saying we just kind of go for it because I know where we're going. I just kind of wanted it on the be pre-flighted and in, because the other place we wanted to hit, or 2 places I wanted to hit, was Cloudland Canyon and a nice neighborhood area up in southern Tennessee. But I say that we just go for it. So we're going to spawn in and hopefully not get off to a bad start of this taking more than forever also. So we're in it now. Looks like somebody flying a 737 around. Good for them. Also, if anybody wants to look out for me to fly around, Microsoft's Flight Sim 2024, I think Paseo Ranger is my name on here. Because this Xbox account used to be mine and a friend's. I had a Toyota Paseo, he had a Ford Ranger. So, super creative with that one, we were. Although a lot of people think I'm Hispanic on here for some reason. Oop, a little bit of movement. Good movement or just resetting us movement? Okay, I'm gonna back out real quick. Zoom in myself and force it to load in. And tonight we're just going to try to go to Nashville. Nice, easy first leg. If we get there and it seems like we can do more, then we're sure as hell going to do more. I'll tell you that. My big fears so far for this adventure. Russia looks boring. I plan on skirting the east coast of Russia. The very, very few airports over there. Hopefully, I won't have to simulate a ferry tank for any of that. I think we're at I think I've plotted out good enough distances between what we can do. Depending on the helicopter we choose, we'll kind of look at that on the day too to make sure it's something that we can do, or if it's something where you want to see a super small helicopter like the Robinson R-22, we can always discuss that and push into it later. Also, if you're watching this, I'd say like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. That way you can see when we're doing this. Times may change throughout the day. I have no schedule right now. So, everything's more up in the air than a normal person with a normal schedule. Come on, you're basically loaded in. Let's do this. Like, I'll be even okay loading in without the runway being fully loaded in. I just want to get going. Just let the helicopter be on the ground. That's all I gotta say. But we did come out here earlier in real life. I saw a Huey doing its refuel before they put it up for the night. Saw a Cobra coming in. Saw, I believe, a Phenom 300 taking off. Saw a Mooney taking off. Mooney didn't run pattern. Bonanza took off. Didn't run pattern. V-tail Bonanza came in for full stop. And there's a couple of little high wings and low wings Cherokees and Cessnas doing some touch and goes and full stop and turning around and getting back in pattern. But relatively eventful. I was hoping to get out there a little bit earlier with my dog, because funny enough, he loves helicopters. I think he learned it from me. But whatever. He got to see a Cobra. There's a cute video of him on my Instagram now, of watching the Cobra. Okay, let's see. Let me get my laser pointer. Like, that's not even going to give me the start button here like it should. So I'm going to have to pop out of VR real quick. Let's see. Where's my mouse at? Okay, now get back in VR. And we should be ready to do a quick pre-flight. Now there's really not much more I can check. It's pretty much just an engine oil check on this. I'm pretty sure my skids are good. There's absolutely no reason why they wouldn't be good. Yeah, no. But I'm not going to waste the time, or not going to give myself that out. So we're good on there. Let's hop in. Let's get ourselves re-straightened up on our seat here. The gauges are not loaded in yet, so we're going to give it a couple of seconds. Fuel truck, you can go away. Let's go ahead and get the battery on. Get our anti-collision lights on. We'll turn that on. That is up. I know where all the stuff is, even though I can't see it. We're going to get in the air, because I think getting in the air is going to be more of a priority for us at the moment. The fuel pump's primed. Get our blade spinning. There we go. And one is going up here. Turbine outlet temperature is looking good. Gonna wait for it to kind of level off and drop torque. Let's see. Torque is dropping. Generator on. Avionics horn on. Pitot heat on. Turn that up to flight. Get our lights on. Fuel pump can adios. Let this get us up to speed. And we'll get going into our first leg of 300-ish hours of flight. I could lie and say that I'm looking forward to it, or not looking forward to it. It's a bit of both, honestly. But we're here for it regardless. Let's give a quick radio call. We're not going to use the systems that they have here just because they're kind of silly sometimes. Let's get our seating position right first. Let's scoot over a little bit up. forward. Okay, Henry County traffic. This is helicopter November 61351. Taking off from the ramp here at the FBO, and we'll be departing to the northeast. Henry County traffic. We're going to start off by doing it wrong by taking off the tailwind. We're going to start to add a little bit of collective here. Where is my rotor speed? What is going on? Oh, there's something weird to remember here. Is there's a governor button on my peripherals. It's functional during the use of no, helicopters governors. This one doesn't have a governor, but for some reason, whatever it's programmed for, I don't know if it's like a FADEC, something that it runs itself through. Either way, I had to turn that governor switch on. So now our rotor's in the green. Everything else looks good. We're going to need a little bit of right pedal taking off and picking up. And we do have a bit of a tailwind right now coming out of 310, if I remember right. Yep. Looks about the same as it was today. Okay, traffic clear left, traffic clear right. Elaine Musk, hold on. We're going on a ride, babe. Let's go ahead and turn off our brackets up there. And fly it as raw as we can. And we're on the move, guys. So, there are times I'll be quiet. I don't know if I have 300 hours worth of stuff to talk about. So, please feel free to, if you're watching this live or you're watching live later, to chat. I'll gladly chat with you. For now, I'm just going to get into it. And if I see somebody pop up in chat, we'll start talking. But for now, we're just gonna start flying. Got a lot of it ahead of us. There we go, loaded in. Hey, look, there's houses here. Hello, Belen. To you and Sean, I assume he's nearby. Also, I don't speak that. This is America. Although we will be flying over there probably in about 2 weeks. So save it. Might come in handy over there. Despite me heading north right now, we are going to end up going west. Mostly because I want the Greenland crossing to be going east to west. I feel like that'll be more of a home stretch feeling, getting that over with. Yeah, hello, Sean. Good to see you. But yeah, I feel like the Greenland crossing will be more of a home stretch feeling to do that than come down the east coast of the U.S. So we're going to be going west around the world, despite everybody kind of saying east. I was kind of thinking about it from a few different points, but I think we're going to go west. I'd much rather fight myself across Russia now and get down that coast and get that over with. But yeah, should be fun. Hope you two are doing good. Thank you for tossing in some suggestions on places to stop. Nebraska seems absolutely boring. So, I kind of look forward to to getting there and seeing if we can make it exciting. But something I may touch on, I know I'll touch on it again. But if you look at a Google satellite view of Nebraska, when you zoom out a decent bit, you'll notice something about midways through the state, all the way to the far western border of the state. It looks like sand dunes, but you say, hey, it's Nebraska, it's a field. It is sand dunes. Like, a third of Nebraska is sand dunes, but it's grass-covered sand dunes. It's actually the largest sand dune area in the Western Hemisphere is Nebraska. So there's your fun fact of the day. Feel free to pop in there and look at that. Actually, I wonder if I can do it on the tablet here. The internet has been dog slow. When I say the internet, I mean the sim itself. So, I don't know how well this will read. But we'll see. I'll zoom in here for the people watching, for the kids watching at home, you know. Let's see, where are we? Okay, cool. Don't know exactly where we're over right now, but I have a pretty good idea. Okay, yeah, here we go. So you look at all this here, all these lines. It's all sand dunes. Nebraska's a giant fucking sand dune. And I happened to see these lines when I'm a satellite view person. But yeah, Nebraska, just a giant sand dune covered in grass. That's why there's rolling hills everywhere in Nebraska. There's a fun fact for you. And we're going to try to treat airspace correctly here. I don't have a chart for the entire country. I don't want to invest in a chart for the entire country, but our EFB here will do a pretty decent job at it. So we'll make sure to stay a bit lower up here as we go, and we'll hang a bit east and stay under the airport approach path, which actually we're already busting it. So we'll come out here a little bit. We'll swing it wide. We'll just pretend I was paying more attention, but at least I am. And there's your realism. Especially at 2,000 feet. We were definitely cranking them on that one. Sorry, guys. It's okay, tower traffic's in sight. So what we should be is on the east side of this line here at about 1,500 feet. And that will give us the vertical separation that we need with these planes coming in. And also puts us outside of that Class Bravo restriction. And as far as our stops today, the first place we're going is PDK Airport. To say hello to my friend Brady. He works for a company up here that does repairs on private jets and stuff. But Brady's also a busy fella, so no, he's probably not watching this, but hey Brady, good to see you. We're also already past Mikey's house. Sorry I didn't get to swing by, but I know that you're at Monster Jam tonight with the kids. Hope you're having fun. We were actually out by the airport earlier, or by the racetrack earlier, watching the airport, so. Also, I think I should look into some sort of music, background music for this. Or I could leave it raw. Just helicopter sounds. We'll see. We'll figure it out. We have a lot of hours left of this. This is like a very small equivalent, you know, leaving your house for a road trip and getting a few miles down the road and being like, man, I have got another 12 hours of driving before we make it to Houston. Or whatever, or wherever you're going, you know. For me, a 12-hour drive to Houston, we did that a couple of times to go out to the TX2K races. Why are we going so slow? What am I doing here? I'm just yapping. We have a schedule to not keep. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways. Just kind of observing, existing. Yeah, this is... For me, it's the equivalent of, oh man, I've got a long road trip that I've got to finish up. And I'm into it now. And we got a long way to go. And I sure should have a long way to go. Right now, I'm done a quarter of what my daily commute is by car. Generic radio traffic on loop. You want generic radio traffic? Let's see. Usually we'll start picking up all these dudes coming in. Come on, give me approach or something. Hang on. Test driving this this round the world stream with me. I've got some popcorn here that I'm munching on. If it's something that sounds like it's if it sounds too loud or distracting, let me know, and I can nix that. We are more or less going straight north at this point. Or that's the direction we need to head. Gonna go swing by PDK, do a quick set down and a slam and scram, touch and go, whatever you'd like to call it.
Atlanta Tower Delta 2104, 1 tree miles east inbound ILS
over by Brady's office.
Delta 2104 Atlanta Tower, altimeter tree 001 cleared ILS runway 27, our approach. Air France tree 21 tree.
Let's see what else I can think about up here.
Clear to land runway 27R.
We'll just kind of discuss Atlanta as we're going.
Land runway 27 or Air France tree 2. Cleared ILS runway 27 or approach Delta 2104.
We're gonna turn that off. That's annoying. And once you get them going, you're kind of like stuck on a channel. So let's see where we at now. Oh, we're flying 20 here. It's a fun road. Seen a lot of police chases on State Boys. Following Interstate 20 out. Stone Mountain over to our right. I want to say that's one of the natural wonders in the world. I think it's the largest piece of exposed granite that there is. It used to be like a magma bowl or something like that. And they went and carved some Confederate generals' faces and stuff in it. Very cool. Their laser show is wild, though. Amount of time and effort to do that thing. Let's see. Man, I have got a thing for flying slow, I will tell you that. Goodness. 80 knots? What am I, commuting? And we're clear of that Bravo now, so I can step it up a bit. And when I say step it up, I mean not be as worried about my altitude. And we are heading for this area here in front of us. It should be PDK. Peachtree DeKalb Airport. A lot of PJs coming in and out of this place. Very nice, towered airport. 3 runways, I believe. 2 parallel, 1 kind of perpendicular to them. Sorry about that. Apparently popcorn gets stuck in your throat. Who would have thought? I am curious how well fuel is going to do on this, because I want to try to do this as accurate as possible, just using the fuel that's available in whatever aircraft that we happen to be in. I know I'll have to simulate a ferry tank on some of these stretches, which I'm okay with. It's just something we can't do in the sim. I can press the F button on my keyboard. I have that mapped to add a 25% fuel, or a 25% capacity, a quarter tank extra. And what we'll do, if we're doing a flight where we assume a ferry tank would be needed, I'm going to see what the size of ferry tanks people have used, or ferry bladders that people have used in this helicopter or whatever helicopter, and we'll do whatever clicks that would simulate or most accurately represent what that capacity would be. So we're going to try to do it as realistic as possible, because there are people that have flown around the world in helicopters. I think it'd be something super cool to do one day. But for right now, this is what we got. So let's see. Like I said, PDK is a towered airport. Usually helicopters can come in on their own approaches from off-center and not have to use the runways and not have to taxi around. So we're going to assume that. So we'll do a little false call right here and go from there. I am seeing a little bit jitters from the ground, so we'll play it nice and easy to hopefully not crash ourselves with a crash of the system. So, Peachtree DeKalb, this is helicopter November 61351, approaching from 2 miles to the south, looking for direct into whatever hangar number that is. Helicopter 61351. And they say, okay, cool, clear to cross the approach path and make my approach to the hangar. Peachtree Tower, clear to approach. Thank you. Or whatever. That's something I've still yet to really touch on ground school for the real thing. But we'll get to it. I don't want to say we'd be well above people, but we're at 600, 700 feet right now above ground, according to the radar altimeter. So, we'd have 500 foot of separation. Not the best, but better than what some people have done. Ooh, SF-50, that is the, I believe that's the Vision jet. Okay, we're coming down here on this approach. So what I'm doing, I'm letting down the collective. That's going to lower our altitude. And I'm pulling back on the cyclic at the same time. And what that does, it flares the helicopter to brake us. And if you look at our airspeed right there, it'll show us slowing down. I mean, I just gained altitude there because I wasn't looking where I was going. I was trying to show you the things. And what we're going to do, we're going to set down here and see if we can adjust a couple of settings to hopefully increase our performance a little bit here with the actual simulator itself. So I'm aiming for this big open area right here. Try not to overfly the buildings. Different things spawning in. And of course, if this was real life, nothing would spawn in underneath of us. So I wouldn't be directly overflying any of them. Now I'm slowly lowering the collective until we're getting into like a little ground effect cushion here. And I'm going to slowly push through that while maintaining our spot. And now let's tweak our settings a little bit just to maybe speed up our help. Terrain level of detail. Cool. We'll give that a shot. Okay, now I'll have to readjust my seating position. Cool, let's get to it. Peachtree PDK Airport, this helicopter November 61351, taking off from that hangar I told you about. We're going to be departing to the northwest. Not overflying anything else shouldn't be a factor. Then I'll get clearance for takeoff and blah blah blah. Here we go. Except we're not going to be following our line directly here. I've got somewhere else I'd like to go. We're going to head up to Jasper, Georgia area. And go see that place that I think would be neat to see, which I've dropped in before. Piper 32R, I think that's a twin engine. I'm not a plane guy for the most part. Hey, here's a question. Can I add a waypoint? To this? Okay, bud. I see you down there. Let's see. This is where we're going. Add to flight plan. Yeah. Whatever. I know where I'm going. It's not a numbered airport or anything, so I'm not too worried about that. As long as we get there, we're going to get there. So, Sean, Boleyn, y'all are still in here. How are y'all doing? What's new? I had my friend who's always asking about gear drop by today. He's dropping me off a birthday present. He got me a flight suit from, I believe, an Air Force Lieutenant Colonel. I believe, don't quote me. Got me a flight suit from that, which definitely can't stolen valor that. But what I can do is, he was a slightly bigger fella, I may tailor that suit just slightly to fit me in a bit more flattering manner. And then from there, you know, we can spice it up and make it mine. Somebody's out there with an R66. What's going on, Ninja Nerd 406? Hopefully you see this one day. Like I said, if you're watching this later, or you're watching it now, I'm munching on some popcorn and stuff, if that's too loud or too weird, feel free to let me know. And if y'all aren't talking and I don't have anything to yap about, I'm just going to be quiet. So, don't mind me. I've got a lot of flying to do. Let's see. Blinn bought a ton of plants and I got my guns. GMS license. Okay, like I said, guns license. I'm trying to read this underneath my VR setup. I have not stolen. You have a flight suit. Was it one that you had when you were in the Marines, or was it just a flight suit you got because it's like a roleplay thing? Also, congrats on the GMS license. I do want to talk to you about that. Because like I was telling you one of the other nights or whatever, I learned by doing all these books that are just like, here's the answer, here's the answer, here's the answer. I don't retain that information. I've tried. What hill am I coming to up here? It's not Kennesaw Mountain. It's not the hill that's near Lanier. Mount Perrin, maybe? No? I think we're too far north from Mount Perrin right now? I don't know. Oh, both. Thank you for... Both. Thank you for clarifying, boy. You weren't going to let him get off of that one. Yeah, I think this one that I got from him is a 44L. So it's got the height that I need. It's just definitely a bit bigger around the center than what I am. Okay, what I need to do, I need to move my phone so that way I can see. Perfect. Okay, don't mind the bad flying, don't mind the bad flying. Readjusting my setup. Way comfier than the coveralls. Oh yeah, I don't... I feel like flight suits have to be comfortable. It's like being a mechanic or being somebody that's working the line, you know? I'm not saying they don't want you to be comfortable, but you're going to be working in uncomfortable positions anyway, so what's the point of giving you like a nice fluffy silk-lined flight suit? No. Like you're just going to get it covered in a sky drawl or whatever anyways, or whatever you said the equivalent of sky drawl was. The military equivalent. Because y'all can't use the same freaking names as everything else. Oh man, God forbid we call Jet A Jet A. Ugh. I know I'm going to talk about this many, many more times over the next couple of weeks, but this will be such a very cool thing to do in real life, flying around the world. But holy shit, what an undertaking. Like, I feel mildly overwhelmed doing it here. And I'm literally sitting in my room. It's just the fact that it's a 250-hour commitment, which is like more than 6 40-hour work weeks that I'm just like dedicating myself to for free. Which at the end of the day, you know, if a donation comes in, cool, that I'm not doing it for free, I'm doing it for pennies per hour. At that point, whenever it gets my channel up to 1,000 subs, then that can help monetize other stuff. So there is a benefit for this. But also this is a good benefit just for flying, exploring different areas, getting to chat, and keeping me, most importantly, from going out and spending money on shit that I don't need while I'm in between shows. That's probably the biggest thing there. Like, it's not that big of a deal to sit around all day, but Amazon whispers to me. eBay whispers to me. Something I'm doing is trying to find ways to invest my money in physical items, a smart thing to do, but in a way where I can turn it around and flip it, just like I bought that, Home Depot was doing a clearance on old stock Ryobi zero-turn fully electric lawnmowers. I picked one up for just under $1,000 for like a $6,000 mower. I sold it for $2,000. So I'm like low-key looking out for deals like this. Elaine's taller than me. Hold up a second. Better. There we go. You don't look down to me. Don't ever look down to me. So yeah, I'm low-key looking for different things and doodads that are something I could buy and flip and make a quick dollar or two on, or if it's something I can sit on for a month and turn around and sell. I'm not against that either. For instance, one thing I'm looking at is like lower end luxury watches online. Like if I can get a Tudor Pelagos FXD, cool watch. They regularly go for $2,500 to $3,500 depending. I've been tossing a lot of lowball offers on eBay for like $1,500, hoping to find somebody who's down on their luck. Well, really, I try to stay around the $2,000 mark for my offers, because then I'm allowed to use their authenticity guarantee, which is relatively important, you would assume. Actually, I'm hoping I can find one of those. That'd be neat to pop up, because then I could wear it, enjoy it a little bit, and I could also get rid of it with relative ease. And already a third of a tank of fuel. Wild. This would be a costly thing to do in real life. Definitely need a sponsor or something. Today's episode sponsored by Blue Alpha, supporting the gamers near you. Their war belt helps me keep my Pez dispenser full of Adderall, which is totally FAA approved to fly in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. Thank you, Blue Alpha Gear. What do you think, Sean? They go for it? Let's see, a text message from who? Okay. Unimportant. Oh, well, it's important, just not for this. But also, if you didn't see, Sean, Helicopters Express, the place up here in Jasper that I talked about, that I think would be super cool to work for, they ended up purchasing the Silabros helicopter fleet, which is that video that I shared on Instagram and posted on the YouTube channel here not too long ago of that sky crane starting up. So that's fun. What do you mean next April 1st? I'm going to fly around the world way quicker than that. I'm going to need you to go talk to them. Hell, text them now. Tell them there's a big issue. Making sure none of these messages are concerning this. Definitely not texting and flying. Oh, that's definitely not a porn account who follows me. Only real accounts here. Okay, let's see. Let's start zeroing this in since I couldn't get it to add earlier. Okay, so it's above this bit here. Basically heading right for it. Perfect. And then from there, I think we'll go over to Jasper, Tennessee. You'll see, I don't know how much they'll be hiring, because I'm sure Silabros, part of the deal is probably getting their pilots and stuff with them. And I also don't know if it's just contracted through Silabros, where Helicopters Express does the main hosting, because I know there's a few Ericsson sky cranes that are still orange and green, but Helicopter Express runs ship for them, however you, is the main operation. Either way, I want to say Helicopters Express is now in charge of, it's more than 20 sky cranes. I think they're now the biggest sky crane operation in the world. Which, very cool. But I think I'm in that position where I'm overqualified to be their S-64 mechanic apprentice. But of course, not being an A&P, I'm underqualified to be an actual A&P for them. Which sucks, because I've got nothing but time right now. I'd love to go out and apprentice and be like, hey, look, I got the gumps. You know, we can do it. I plan on flying one day anyways. Wouldn't it be nice to have somebody who can just understand everything and be a part of your team? Literally the best option they have. But, you know, whatever. I'm not too worried. I would just like film to work consistently for a little bit so that way I can pay for full-on flight school. But I can wish in one hand and shit in the other, and one's definitely going to fill up faster. But they do have neat contracts. A lot of cool overseas stuff. Good schedule. You work half the year. And even as an A&P, which, don't you have A&P, or did your stuff not qualify or cross out of military? I forget. But as an A&P, to make $100-something thousand a year and work half the year because you're on and off location, that's not that bad of a deal, you know? There's definitely worse things out there. They're going to slowly start losing altitude, but I'm not going to be doing not slowing down for it. If anything, we're going to speed this bitch up a little bit, because I can see where I'm going, and that's what we're going for. So, Helicopters Express here. They are known by their yellow liveries and paint jobs on all of their stuff. Yellow, white, and black. And they used to be down in Chamblee, Georgia, down at PDK, the airport that we were at earlier. They were on the far north end of the airport at the end of runway, what I assume we like 2-1 or 2-4. I forget what the runway numbers are there. Kind of on the northeast side of all the hangars that were on the west side of whatever runway goes to the end there. And that was their base of operations, but you pay a lot of money to be at PDK, and especially taking up that much space. So they decided it was a much smarter idea to buy 300 acres of property, build some hangars, and build housing there as well. And then you can work when they bring you into work. If you're not local, you can live here during your stints. Didn't have your A&P, but there's a fast track. Yeah, I figured it was something like that. Of course, it wouldn't cross straight out like, oh, God forbid, me who worked on airplanes the entire time gets a job where I'm working on airplanes following the same rules. Okay, time to start lowering the collective. We're making a steeper approach in here. Where we're heading, which I've been here before in stream, is that place right there. In this game and in the satellite view, I don't know when they took the satellite view for the photogrammetry for this area, but it was mostly chicken coops in this area, I believe, or the way the photogrammetry AI'd itself into being corrected. It shows itself as what looks like more like a chicken coop sort of building, but in fact, it's a couple of hangars. And if I zoom in here, we can see this a bit here. All this property is theirs. Those have been turned into hangars yet. They were chicken coops at one point, and they're actually building houses along this ridge right here. Like I said, for mechanics, pilots, whoever, to come and stay as they work during their hitches. And if your hitches happens to be here, then this is where you be. But if your hitch is overseas, of course, they put you up somewhere nice in whatever area. But we're not even going to land here because it's not actual hangars, it's just chicken coops right now. But now we're gonna drift our way around this corner and avoid these high tensions and start pushing ourselves to the northwest. Our next stop will be Jasper, Cloudland Canyon area. We're gonna check out the canyon if we can to see what it looks like. I think that has us flying right over Cloudland. I think it's Chattanooga there. Yeah, so that's Jasper there, I believe. Yep. So basically we just get back on path. That should be friendly for us. We'll just kind of turn ourselves in this bit of a direction. We'll aim for that saddle up in front of us. AA5. What is an AA5? I feel like I've seen these before because there's a guy that I know that has one. But I just couldn't tell you what it is, just because it's one of those smaller name brand airplanes I'm just not familiar with. I can tell you what a C-172 is now. It's looking by about the time we get up to Jasper up here. It should put us up at a good place to set down, top off our tanks, head up to Nashville, and we'll evaluate time and light at that point. And we'll go from there, you know. We'll see how we're doing. Because I could make this flight much more efficient and straight line everywhere. But that's not as fun. I'd much rather explore a little bit. Enjoy some time. We could fly near some of these old childhood stomping grounds, you know, maybe see the story from chat or whatever, you know. Looks like we're crossing the path. Looks like it'd be the approach path. Because it looks like these two planes are kind of near this end of the runway. Really hard to tell, though. Yeah, it looks like he's taken off the other way away from us. I'm going to pause for just a second to drop something, and I don't want to crash on the first day. Definitely didn't drop popcorn on the ground, guys. That would be bad. Whew. So let's readjust my seat. Taller than Elaine, never look down at me. Good enough. Okay, let's get some speed. Let's throw some torque up in this bad boy. There we go. Really playing it there. We got a little bit of yaw out of that. Do I feel like I'm sitting straight? Maybe slightly tall. Might just be playing the wind right now and just feeling off center. probably what it is. What the hell was I thinking? Fly around the world. What an absolutely ridiculous thing to do. Cool. It's cool, don't get me wrong. I guess the plus side too is I'm not on a schedule. I don't have to make it to St. Louis, Missouri by tonight. You know, I don't have to do 12-hour days of this unless I want to. If it is just a rainy day, no thunderstorms, so I'm not going to lose power, nothing going on, and I can just hop on and fly, why not? If my headset's charged, I'm going to get into it, you know. Hey, the stream finally stopped and my phone went up. So you need some hours. You really want some hours. Okay, cool. Low-key kind of wish I could set autopilot, but I think that's only a thing with self-centering peripherals. My cyclic, collective, all that stuff, none of it self-centers. Well, collective doesn't have a center. It's fixed, so I don't have to hold it in whatever position. I just kind of set it and forget it. Pedals don't self-center for anti-torque. My cyclic sure as shit don't self-center. So I think even when we get into an autopilot ship later, like the Super Puma or something, I think I'm SOL. I think I've got to hold control for an entire trip around the planet. Weird. Okay. But yeah, I hopped in the V1 Simulations Discord yesterday, asking opinions for flight paths on this, which most of them, green roof, interesting, which most of the people on that Discord, they're all airline, Airbus, Boeing, big plane enthusiasts. I was like, hey, I want to fly a helicopter around the world. In the sim and stream it, any suggestions as far as flight paths or whatever. Somebody said, it'd be easier if you just pretend you loaded an A-Star into the back of a Boeing 777X or something for like the Greenland crossing. And I was like, that ruins it because I could do the entire like world flight in 2 days. Maybe one 17-hour from Atlanta to Shanghai or something, and then another one from there to London, then London over on a quick hop. No, it would take no time whatsoever. And that's not what I'm looking for. I need something to, for lack of better terms, keep me occupied as much as I can. And if it helps out the channel, it helps out the channel. If not, I don't care. I can get 3 subscribers from this whole thing. Make absolutely $0. I'm okay with it. You know, whatever. But if this is something I'm going to be pushing out regularly, I would also like to do a Pan American trip. I would also like to do a European tour, African tour, Australian, bounce the Pacific as much as I can by helicopter. I mean, like, I could do a lot of this. If I have the time, I could do a lot. I could start bringing people in a Discord call or game chat or whatever, and basically make it a little podcast that just happens to be me flying at the same time. I've actually debated on printing some self-centering stuff. Because I don't think it would be that hard to do. I mean, it's just a matter of getting something that clamps around the base. And, unplug this for a second. There we go. There we ungo. I've debated. Where'd that go? Right here. Working off screen, guys. Don't mind me. There we go. But, yeah, I've debated on designing and 3D printing some little spring setups to kind of help center it. I don't know if the rudder would need to be centered or self-centering or not, but I know the cyclic sure shit would be. Either way, I'm not too terribly upset. But again, like I said, this could also end up being something like a just a different table for a podcast for all these Zoomers out there these days that can't watch anything informational without Subway Surfers playing. This might be an option for them to let me adjust this headset a little bit. Nope. Better. Okay. This might be an option for them to pay attention to something with something visual, you know? Probably actual chicken coops there. But yeah, make like something I think would be super cool, which I don't think the sim has the ability to do it. But I think running VR is phenomenal. I think it's honestly the only way to go as far as doing the flight sim, unless you have like a big multi-screen setup and the switch panels for everything. But I can tell you for helicopter stuff, I almost don't even want to think about doing it without VR, just because it's so undynamic when you think of it. You know, like when I'm going in to land somewhere, I can look at my skid down there. Let's see, what if I minimize you real quick and bring you back? Bandwidth too low. Suck my ass, bandwidth. Okay, Cloudland Canyon is up here somewhere. I'm going to look at my phone real quick and see if I can reference the way the mountains look here, so that way I can plan that in appropriately. So it looks like we're going to be coming southwest out of Chattanooga, which is that. And basically that ridge that comes south out of there comes down. There's like a split, it almost looks like. So yeah, there's that town right there, that's Trenton. Kind of directly south of the end of that. So yeah, this right here should be Cloudland Canyon. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it. From my best judgment, yeah, that's got to be it. Okay, cool. So that's where we're heading next. That suggestion was brought to us by Christina. Shout out to Christina. That happens to be Brady's wife. Brady would be one of my homies. So you get everything loaded back up and in. Cool. Cool. We're good on gas. Yep, just under half a tank. More than plenty to get us up to Jasper. Fuel planning will definitely become a thing as we start getting over to Alaska, because we're going to have to cross Denali, or Mount McKinley, as it's properly called. Either way, I've always known it as both. It doesn't really make a shit of a difference to me. But yeah, we have to cross that because I don't want to follow the Alaska coast all the way around, so we're going to leave north out of Anchorage and hit a couple of more bushy sort of places. We'll start looking at ranges when we get up closer there. We're still in Georgia right now. I'm not super worried about that. We have another week, at least, of flying in continental U.S. Hello, there's 5 people in here now. What's going on? Who else is in here? Feel free to say hey. If not, keep lurking. That's on you. But welcome to the stream. Today's day 1. We're about an hour and a half in. We've already dropped by PDK Airport. We took off from Henry County, KHMP, next to Atlanta Motor Speedway. We swung by PDK and did a little bit of settings adjustment to hopefully speed up the graphics a little bit. We said hey to my friend Brady, who works there virtually. We swung by, literally, Helicopters Express in the Jasper, Tate, Georgia area. Now we're in between there, and we're going to flip by Cloudland Canyon up in northwest Georgia. And then we're going to stop at the airport, little municipal, just to the northeast of Jasper, Tennessee. Excuse me. We're going to top off on fuel and then head up to Nashville. We'll judge our time there. If we want to do a little bit more of a jump to try to get somewhere else, we can, we may, we might. But I don't want to do night flying quite yet in this series. I know it will be something in the future. I'm already kind of breaking my rule that I want to do a flying live time. But had something to come up today, give me a little bit later start than I wanted to. So I did put it back to 5 o'clock takeoff time, 5 p.m. So I think that's, it'll be 5 hours behind UTC. Anyways, I would like to try to do it as real time as possible, but I don't want to do night just yet, because I'd hate for anybody finding it this early in the series and watching through to have to sit through 1 to 5 hours of basically black screen with little bits of light popping up here and there depending on where we're at, especially if we're deep in the wild somewhere, crossing over middle of nowhere America in Kansas in a couple of days. That's not what I would want to sit and watch. I don't think that's what they would want to sit and watch. So we're not going to worry about that. Where's my mouse? Hey Sean, there you go. I made you a mod. Since I figured like you'll be sticking around a little bit here and there and jumping in on some streams because you're a homie. I don't expect a paycheck yet. But I believe I made you a mod. I don't know. We'll see. I have my laptop up over here. Let me see. Oh yeah, your standard moderator. Cool. There you go. Don't let the power go to your head too much. Plus, even though I've never been to your house, I know where you live. So if you tank this, then consider it war. Yeah, see, look, you had a little tool next to you now. Damn right. Well earned. Oh, how the tides have turned. Went from being my supervisor at work to now I'm employing you as a mod. Oh, how the turns have tabled. And we're not going slow, but we're not going fast. We're going to step that up a little bit here. That's also one thing I don't want to do in this series. I don't want to use the sim rate feature where I can speed up stuff by 25 or more, 1 time, 2 time, 3 time power, whatever. You have 3 guard cats. I have a sack of catnip and a 37mm grenade launcher. Flare launcher. 15% of what? Do you owe me money now? This business is currently in the negative, sweetheart. I spent money on the PC, on the sim, on the peripherals, on the VR, and I've yet to make money on this channel. So, if you want 15% of the gains, you got to take on 15% of the cost as well. Would that be possible? Could we make a 37mm like catnip? I feel like we could 3D print a 37mm like catnip grenade distraction device. That's definitely doable. Hello, hazy sky. I mean, we're not quite IFRing, but a little bit weird to have the low haze. But that's mountains and stuff for you today, and it's a tax write-off, exactly. Sadly, I haven't LLC'd multi-shot Matt yet. Once I hit the 1,000 sub mark, I plan on doing that. I feel like it'd probably be worth it at that point to at least get ahead of that. But yeah, business expense, whatever. Smat, smoke cloud. Like, how the hell does catnip even exist? Is it just like... I've never looked into it. But is it literally just a plant? Like, is there nothing special added to it? There's no chemical additive or anything. It's literally just a plant that cats are extremely attracted to. Is it like a pheromone type thing, or is it, like you say, like a ganja? Are they getting high whenever they're near it? Guys, it's Mr. Beast, look. You think it's the real one? You think he's playing sim with a 737 Max 8? And he's what? He's up there in Chattanooga. I feel like he'd take off from somewhere that he knows. Over in the Carolinas. I think he's a bit busy to be playing this though. Just dried up. Interesting. Who figured that out? Did they just see like a whole bunch of cats, like feral cats, or jaguars are like giant killers, like running after him one day. He's like, hell, I gotta go hide. So he finds this bush and he's trying to hide behind it, hoping they don't see him. And they just run over and they're about to attack when they have like the big freeze moment like you'd see in a cartoon. Oh, what is this? And just start rolling around and playing with it. What a weird thing. Is there a human equivalent to that? I mean, like, of course, marijuana, but I don't think that's, like, not an attractant. Or do cats that have zero experience with catnip, where they've never seen it before, do they recognize the smell and are attracted to it? Or is it something where it's like meth? Like, once they try it, then they're attracted to it. Or they know that they can get like a little high. So they're just little drug addicts running around. Who knows? I mean, actually, somebody probably does know. And if anybody in the chat does know, it's probably one of you two. We can use it for many uses. Fruit trees, medicinal uses. Okay, we're getting up here. It's Lookout Mountain and stuff up there, kind of directly under the Mr. Beast thing. Still don't think that's the real guy. But if that is, Jimmy, what's up? Come hang out in the stream. Dude, fruit trees. I would love to have some legit fruit trees. I have my friend who has a race car shop. I think it's now Three Brothers Innovations. It used to be YI Racing. But some of his family, whether it's grandfather or something like that, I think his grandfather had property in Trinidad and Tobago. Just CBD. Well, see, I'm not attracted to CBD. Like, cool, I know what it is. I know it has medicinal uses, but I don't smell CBD. I'm like, oh man. I know there are people who smell weed and they run towards it because they enjoy getting high and they enjoy smoking it. And there's an updraft right there. Anyways, fruit trees are great, dude. He said his grandparents had some property down in Trinidad and Tobago, and they had fruit trees, fig trees, everything was just there, and you could basically just, with how tropical and perfect the weather was for the trees itself, as long as you can get water purified or clean somehow, you just sit there and live on the trees. Didn't have to leave the property. And we wanted to go down there a lot of times. We never did. And I want to say that particular grandfather passed away here recently. So I don't know if that property's still in the family. I think that country is set up in a bit of a way where the government owns all the property, but you buy a lease to it. Sorry for all the bad flying here. I'm starting to dig through the bottom of this bowl of popcorn. But I think you kind of like buy the rights to your property for like 101 years or something like that. I mean, that's true about spreading the seeds and stuff. I have a decent record with a Tinder and Bumble for spreading my seed. I've never had to attract stuff to me that way, but sometimes I'll flirt old school. And low-key, you can hear me chewing? Yeah, sorry. I was kind of going heavier than usual there. I was doing like 3 or 4 kernels at a time trying to finish this off, but I'll be much more subtle now. So for those of you that aren't my friends, I promise not to eat that much on stream. But it is cutting season right now, so I'm restricting myself a good bit. I'm trying to eat the low-calorie crunchies, you know, just to kind of like not so much feed the stomach, but feed the mental bit of your stomach needs to feel something hitting it. Your mouth has to chew on something. You have to get that little bit of a salt hit, or that little bit of sugar, or something similar. What is that up there? Y'all see that? That might be an airport I want to go to. I don't know. We'll see. We're almost up here at Cloudland. Looks like it's not this set of hills we're going over, but the next set. And that will be one of our last touristy spots on this little section. That's good because we're getting down to a quarter tank of fuel. That was about my plans anyways. I know we could be much more efficient with it, but then again, we don't have any sort of access to autopilot. I'm kind of going around free flying this a bit to where we're not point A to point B. We're not optimizing for winds or anything. We're just kind of going for it. Also, for those of you who eat popcorn, do you put any of the additive salts on it? I started doing that. I hate that I started doing that because I know there's not the best stuff in them. But being able to make my own white cheddar popcorn is a pretty cool selling point for me. Now, I already get the ultimate butter, stupid microwave crap, and I'd like to get some that I could stove cook. I've just never gotten that deep into it. So that's the guys up there with a H-125 Rescue. What's up? Mr. Beast still on the ground. I guess he's trying to figure out how to crank it up. 737s ain't easy, homie. I think right now we need to aim for this-ish area. That's what we're going to go for. We'll adjust as we go. I think before this is over, I may have to invest in a more comfortable seat. I'm basically using an old, super cheap office chair. Let's see what Belinda said. I'm a butter, because kettles, when they do it with like the sugar coating, right? I think I had some kettle corn not too long ago, and it was more of a sugar coaty thing, right? Either way, the popcorn I get's ultimate butter. The Orville's Redenbacher ultimate butter, whatever it is. That's typically my go-to. For me, popcorn's a salty snack. It's not a sweet snack. I've never cared for the caramel popcorn when we would get it there at AAI. I would just tear through the butter and the cheddar. And to me, like, if I want something sweet, I'm going to get chocolate or a fudge or something that's actually sweet. Okay, we're getting close. Cloudland Canyon. Let's do this. Christina, this is for you. It should be a little set of valleys inside this particular strip of mountains. Let's get down here. Zoom in on this real quick. Be a bit more accurate with our flight. Boo. What? Boo what? Sean, that's why you're the mod. No, but yeah, like I said, popcorn for me is a salty snack. And that's the way I prefer to keep it. A honey bun. Yeah, something, you know? I mean, I literally have next to me right here a jar of local honey. Or if I really need that sweet hip, I'll literally just drink from the jar. Is that a lake, or is that just a issue with the rendering? Looks like there might be water there, but it's just having a problem rendering incorrectly. Weird. Oop, almost dropped another popcorn. Not good. That's neat. Up here on top of the mountain, there's little rivers and things. Very cool. I'm going to say this right up here ahead is Cloudland Canyon. That looks like pretty steep walls for the Georgia mountains. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling right there. That's what it looks like, guys, doesn't it? We'll buzz this canyon real quick. We'll head up to the Jasper Airport, top off on fuel, start heading up towards Nashville. What I do? I start streaming at 7:45, something like that. Probably didn't get in the air till 8 because of the slow loading times. So I've only been up for an hour and 20 minutes. It's not too bad. No, there's cows down there. Hey, cows. Fun fact, Belinda, there are actually cats in this game. They have wildlife programmed for different areas where it will spawn in. Of course, the cats are extremely rare and hard to find. Oh, cool. They even have the canyon walls kind of rendered in a little bit. That's neat. Neat. Top Gun this bad boy right here. Actually never been to Cloudland. Very cool. Another little offshoot of the canyon there. Hard to see with the sunlight. Okay, there we go. Nice. Now we're going to be heading up to KAPT up here. We're going to start our westerly bit of a turn. This will be just around the Jasper-Kimball area. Please find them. I'll actually check to see where they do spawn in. And if anything, when we get to that day where we're at that location, and maybe even divert a little bit for you so we can get close to where they would be. We'll see if we can find one. We'll make that a goal. Cool, Cloudland Canyon. That means we are just about out of Georgia. I think the river up here is the Tennessee line, because this is right above the border, because Chattanooga, again, is right on the border. So we are almost out of our first state, which means we will not see this again for a couple of months. That'd be a great spot for a Dollar General. You should tell that to Dollar General. Get hired on the spot. Ma'am, we need you to find the best looking place in the world to put a Dollar General. The country needs more of them. There was like 7 or 8 of them around us down here. They were looking at putting another one up, and everybody's like, no, we don't even want the first 6. Or like the second 6s, you know? Like, the first one was nice because it kind of gave people a little bit of a lower income, a little bit of a place to go shop and get something. But we don't need 7 of these things. Then they put in a Dollar General Market just across from the street from the Ingles or Publix or something down here. There's just no point, there is no purpose in it. Holy crap. Let's buzz this ridge. Try to be smart with our little bit of fuel we have. We're only like 5 miles away, so I'm not too worried about it. We can basically see it over there as is, so not that big of a deal. Looks like our river valley, the Tennessee River Valley, up ahead. I'm curious how many hours I have in this now. I know I had like around 150 or 200 in Microsoft 2020. I'm curious how many hours I have in this one now. I bet it's around the same now. I know this is going to add a big chunk to it here. Dollar General everywhere. I just don't get it. Like, how, like, their buildings aren't super nice, so I guess they don't have a lot of overhead for the construction of the buildings. I wonder what their product acquisition is like. Is it stuff that's slightly more expired or close to expiration date? Maybe the bags are torn, the boxes are busted or something. I honestly haven't shopped prices between them and other places. I only eat organic for the most part. But I'm curious if they have a different way of sourcing or a different sort of pricing bracket that they can get on their stuff, because if they're selling the same thing for cheaper, there has to be something wrong with it. Or if it's something like a Walmart with their I know with like TVs or whatever at Walmart, they have like lower quality TVs or like PCs or graphics cards or whatever, CPUs, whatever the case is. They actually have lower quality bits and pieces where, like, okay, cool, it's a 4K TV, but maybe it's a much lower brightness classification on that particular LED chip or whatever. Yeah, money laundering. It's almost like the mattress store thing. Did you ever watch the video on the mattress stores or the mattress bed stores theory that they're all money laundering? But apparently, the markups on mattresses are so good that you only need to sell like 3 or 4 of them to cover your rent for the month, and then 1 or 2 more to cover your employees and whatever else. So you don't need a huge load of mattress movement to be successful doing mattresses. Apparently, you just set up, and as long as you can advertise it enough to where people want to come by and shop, I mean, you get 1 or 2 sold and you're pretty much good. But I actually have wondered that same thing about Dollar General, whether it is something like that. Because, I mean, how do they open up 70 of these things? Why? And of course, I'll say the normal people, those of us with sense, look at it and go like, man, I didn't shop at the first one, I'm not going to shop at this other one. But there are people who will just go to it because it's the most convenient thing. And if you put something more convenient in front of them, then that's where they're going to go. You know, that's what they do. There's no extra thought process with it. There's no, oh man, I want to fight against this or whatever. That's just what they do. Which is wild to me. Also, for those of you that don't know, I do stream my own stream to myself so that way I can make sure everything's working right. If the stream does close, just close the page and refresh. I'm not going anywhere. I plan on doing this fully. Now that we're in Tennessee, we can say goodbye to Georgia. It was fun. I'll see you guys in a few months. We're going to come down here to the Jasper Airport. So, it has a name. It's like Johnson County something. I'm not going to pull up the ATC thing because sometimes that menu will lock up open, and I'd rather not have that lock open on me. But Johnson County Airport, this is helicopter November 61351. We are 1 mile to the southeast, approaching in for runway 7, maybe. Guessing here. Whatever county traffic. We avoided those power lines there. And we'll come and sweep in. And I know in 2020 you could land or park next to the fuel trucks and would give you the option, or the fuel tank farm, and it would give you the option to refuel, or you set down runway 4. But I don't know if it gives us the option here. I'm just going to do a little hover sidestep, try to avoid the grass enough to not blow shit everywhere on everybody. And we'll just come over here and set down in front of the fuel pumps. Hey, vehicle! Jesus Christ. And slowly set this bad girl down. Turn that to idle, not that it matters. There goes the audio, perfect timing. Which I think I can actually pause, resume. Yep, I got the audio back, so I can press the F key. Our fuel over here, we got 51 kilograms left. I can press my F key a couple times and top off, so we're back at 432 kilograms of fuel. And now, we're going to continue our way up to Nashville. I don't have any other stops planned on this stretch that I can remember. If you think of something that's directly between... Or I'm going to kind of swing by the neighborhood thing, but that's in the way anyways. Yeah, I really can't think of anything. We could swing by Whistle and Diesel's place, but I don't care that much at the end of the day. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to go for it, send it. And if we need to make a stop for whatever reason, we'll take a stop, because I may have to do a bathroom break or something here eventually anyways. So, back to flight on our collective grip down there. Let's see if we can do our instruments up any. Rotor RPM up to 300 currently, going up to 390. Okay, Jasper, Tennessee Airport traffic. This is helicopter 42069. We are taking off from the fuel farm. We're going to be departing directly to the northwest. Tennessee Airport traffic. Need a whole bunch of right pedal. Holy shit. Of course, the wind is right up our taint right now, so that explains that. And we have no traffic to the right, no traffic to the left, and we're going... Yeah, you can see where the wind's blowing right now. So we've been flying with a headwind this entire time. That explains the higher fuel burn. A lot of airspeed, a lot less ground speed. So we're gonna do only a slight detour here on this. But I'd like to show you guys a neighborhood which happens to be on top of a cliff over here. A lot of expensive pieces of property, obviously. But if I had the money to, I would buy a piece of property up here. I would definitely have a hangar on my property, and I would fly a helicopter in and out of it. And being in Tennessee, there's no state income tax, which is a huge plus. But this whole ridge in front of us, the top, has been bought by a developer, which usually I'm not a fan of, but they had made the coolest neighborhood along the edge of the ridge here. And of course there's inward set houses and everything as well. But as far as just cool places to have a house with a view, if you look at your Zillow app and go to like Kimball, Kamball, which is this town off to our left over here, Kimball, Tennessee. Jasper, Tennessee is the kind of a bit more behind us. This whole ridge line up here is, in fact, a neighborhood, so you can have a cliff face home where your backyard literally is the edge of this cliff up here, which is super cool, in my opinion. Especially if you have a helicopter where you can come up here and land and come in and out and leave that way, and you wake up to a sunrise. And of course you can get the other side too and get the sunset view, but man, what a cool place to try to make a home at. So you can see there's a photogrammetry of a house right there. But I mean, look at this view. Like, come on. What a view to have for a house. Anyways, let's get out of here. I'm turning left, but I'm almost full right pedal. That is wild. High torque, because we're heavy right now with fuel. Don't have any passengers, so. Either way, let's get into it. Hunker down. We're in for a flight now, guys. That was really the only thing to show in between here and there. We'll slowly gain a little bit of altitude, slowly gain a little bit of speed. No huge hurry. What I would like... The sun's over there somewhere. It's hazy, so I can't get the actual spot of it. But I like to make Nashville by dark. And we'll call that good for today. And here we're only flying at 2,200 feet. I wonder how nice it's going to be when we're up in Alaska. And we'll see if we can summit Denali. Or Mount McKinley, whichever it is. It's like, it'd be cool. Don't get me wrong, but I still don't have any preference one or the other between McKinley and Denali. I've always personally known them as both. So, y'all have a preference? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you're not already, don't forget to like and subscribe. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt me. And I would prefer you to continue watching me, but you don't have to. You know, you can just do it. Do it. And also, this thing of popcorn's basically done. It's just the little bitty crumbs now. Cool, we'll call the popcorn done. Fun. Thank you, Orville. It was a joy. Three knots there. Yeah, we don't have that much of a headwind, but it's still a headwind. Who is this guy up here? What are you doing? Jones 0008. Jeez, 130 knots airspeed. 115 ground speed. Let's take this up to like 26 or so. Air is pushing around up here a good bit. Keeping a little bit of steady back pressure on the cycler, but we're still losing altitude over some of these areas. So we are playing with some thermal and air movement over these mountains. Let's see, I wonder what this looks like. It has us going straight to the mountains. Flight plan definitely did not take altitude into effect. I was just looking for the path, that's all I wanted. I may have to do, I may actually have to look at most efficient speeds, because helicopters do have, just like airplanes, whatever speed is for best range or best efficiency, best climb, which is also inversely best auto rotation speed. I may look into that once we start getting into some longer legs where there's less places to set down and refuel. Because here there's plenty of little municipal airports here and there across this country that I can go and set down on, but I can almost guarantee you once we get out to Russia, or at least even going up through Alaska, I may have to be in the Chinook or the 225 Super Puma for a lot of that, just for the range, if we're not going to play ferry tank sizing and guessing games. So if I can optimize speed with those, of course we may be going a bit slower, but we can more realistically play ranges and how this would be done in the real world. Because we're doing this relatively realistic as we are now. You know, I'm flying a bit low, but that's just because I like to look at stuff and explore, and why not? The FAA is not a real entity in this game, in my opinion. But it's good practice too. Like right now, I would not be this low with man-made height obstructions and stuff being that same altitude next to me. That's kind of a frowned upon thing. I'm trying to think how long of a drive it is from Chattanooga to Nashville. It'd be neat to live up here on the top of this mountain range. That'd be cool. If one of y'all listening cares to do it, if not, no big deal. But I would be curious what a Chattanooga to Nashville driving time is. Where'd my helicopter buddy go? Is he out behind me somewhere? He's gone. I don't see him anywhere. Okay, next one we're passing you, bud. Forward 0120. 172 SP G1000 cockpit. Wow, look at you, all that glass. But it's like, I know I've done this trip multiple times. I think what we just did, we crossed I think it's Monteagle? Maybe? Because I think this is 75 north that we're kind of following here now. Either way, we're basically following this interstate for a little bit, so. Silly live stream on my phone. It's wild that my phone will lose a stream and say that the video has ended, but I've got my laptop up under my main account monitoring as me, where I can make somebody a mod or block somebody or whatever if I need to. But it keeps going. It's fine. Just my phone's streaming. Cut out every once in a while. Also, if y'all see me looking over here like that, or over here and holding, that's me looking at phone and laptop. I don't that's cool. Our path basically just follows. I think it's 75 north here. That's neat. 75 or 24, whatever it is. Current time for me is almost 10 o'clock p.m. So about 2 hours of flight now. Well, we should do this in about 3 or so. Sounds about right. With the stops that we made, we were not as direct as we could have been, that's for sure. Took a couple of detours, explored, had a good time. And I'm not mad about that. Cell phone streaming, what are you doing? So weird. See the other person coming. Traffic ahead of us. They are scooting though. I'm going to assume they're probably way up high. Very rarely is somebody down that low going that fast. They're on the west side of the highway there. Don't see anybody. I guess they gotta be high. Traffic definitely not in sight. But we're doing good time here. About 120 knots ground speed. I'll take it. We're doubling what interstate traffic's doing. So that's scooting along. I also predict, maybe before the end of the stream, Glenn, Sean, good night. Thank you guys for coming in. Have some good cuddles for me. That sounds weird, never mind. Yeah, thanks for stopping in. Hope to see y'all again next time, as I've got a lot more of this to do. We EP. Oh no. Poor guys. Anyways, but for real, thank you guys for stopping in. I know I'll be seeing you around. Y'all have always been good. So, yeah, sleep good, guys. I'll just be here, flying the midnight oil. There's a spot up here. KS Blue. Wonder what that could be. Thank you, Sean. Good luck on your sleep, Mr. EP. Okay, since they're gone, I'm actually going to close the phone version for a bit. Focus on a little bit of flying. I'll look over and check my laptop every once in a while to see if there's anything new, but I'll have my quick check phone kind of out of the way. Since it's annoying to have to restart and get back into it, I need to look at the things that I could download or whatever to but I do need to look at things that I could or should download to put my chat on the screen. And when it'd be on the screen, it'd be for me to see. I don't think you guys would see it. I think there's different ways that that's done. I'm not an expert, though. That's not really my thing. I'm surprised I'm even this far along doing a stream or having the VR on the computer set up. I've got a lot of people that have asked me for tech questions before, or reached out through private messaging or commenting or whatever. And honestly, it's a miracle that this is up and running for me. There's days when I try to put the headset on and it doesn't work, and I turn it off and turn it back on again and it still doesn't work, and I'll repeat that 4 or 5 times until it does work. Let's see, we'll try to play nice. We'll go around these clouds here, because it is raining a bit. Or do we play left of it? Because it would be blowing to our right, so we're going to go left side around these. Should have decided that a little bit earlier, but we play loose here. We're going to skim the left edge of this. Our sun's starting to lower a little bit there. So thankfully that makes flying a bit nicer in this direction, but it means we'll be getting dark soonish as well. As far as where we're at, still got a bit to go. We're about a third of the way through from this leg of this leg, if that makes any sense. Because we had our halfway fuel point stop, whatever you'd like to call it there. And we're going to touch a little bit of the sprinkles here, but we're not going to be going through too much of it. Goodness, this wind is not friendly. Throw some more left pedal in here and see if we can smooth that out a little bit. Only 104 knots ground speed, disgustingly slow. We should be having a bit of a downdraft with the rain, I believe. It's just a quick little cloud. We'll punch through this in no time. Oh, that sun makes that fun, tell you what. Good on altitude here. Plenty of space below us. There we go, we're getting a little bit of rain on the windows. Start turning right to get back on path, because we've cleared that little bit of a storm. I'm going to turn radar off just because I don't care for all that. And cool, it updated again. Sick. Cool rainbows though. If y'all haven't watched the Veritasium video on rainbows, it's pretty cool. As weird as that is to say. But it's like the smaller drops are the round drops of rain as they exist in the atmosphere. The raindrop shape more or less doesn't exist. They're round. But we'll use one of our gauges here to kind of talk about it. So the light comes in, so you're here observing this raindrop here, and the light's behind you. So the light will come in, bounce, and come back out. So that's why you see light from the rainbow when the rainbow, or the light's behind you and the rain's in front of you. So you have to be between the light source and whatever's doing the refraction. And the different colors of the spectrum, I'm adjusting my mask here. The different colors of the rainbow spectrum go through the water droplet at slightly different angles, which is what gives you the rainbow effect. And the reason it's darker under the rainbow is because of how... Is it darker below? I think it's darker below and lighter above. So the reason it does that is because all the colors will mix in and just turn into standard white light on the upper side, on the outer direction of that refraction of light to you, so that's why it appears to be lighter on the outside of the rainbow, which we're not in it right now. We can kind of see one out there. But that's why that is what it is. Now we'll focus back in on flying straight and smooth a little bit. I say that as I look down at my phone and continue to not fly straight and smooth. Wanted to check one more thing while we were here. Yeah, if you're watching now, and you've made it through this far, you're watching live and you joined us, bandwidth too low, understood. Free, like, comment, subscribe, all those things. It, one, helps me talk to you guys, poll you guys a little bit, figure out what we're going to do on the next legs. If there's anywhere specific that's on my generally planned flight around the world that we're going to do, if there's a place that you want to see, you know, I've got places I want to see, but I didn't even think about Cloudland Canyon, and we got to fly through a neat little canyon there in northwest Georgia earlier. So yeah, commenting helps with that. Likes. Personally, does nothing for me. But what it does, it helps the video get seen by others. So that way, hopefully they can see it, give us options on things to do. Places to go, things to see, unique things. Right now we're trying to make it up to Nashville. I think we're going to call that a good stopping point for day one. Or at least we're doing this for a few hours a night. You know, I'm not going to put in 10-hour days yet. I might get tired of this later and really try to push through it. But today's just part one, so we're only going to do like 3 to 5 hours of flying. Yeah, liking the video can help other people see it, help put some input in, and make this a bit funner for everybody else. Although I don't mind flying in silence, just because I kind of find this peaceful. It's nice to have people to chat with. If you weren't here when Sean and Belinda were here, if you were, it's always fun to talk to people, you know. So it's much appreciated when you can do that, and subscribing, that does the thing, you know. And that way you know when I'm going live and you can see it. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, I can start actually getting paid for views on my other videos or ads or whatever. That can help pay for things. Of course, at that number, it's so low that it's basically inconsequential. But either way, it puts me at that point where I say, okay, cool, this is something that I can do. Which, I mean, even though right now I can accept donations, I'm not asking for that. I kind of find that cheesy or whatever. You want to say something to me, just say something in the chat. You know, I'll see it eventually when I look over there. But for the most part, I want people who are interested in helicopters to find this, or if you're just interested in chatting about whatever. I've had an interesting life. I've done a lot of interesting things. So, I don't mind talking to anybody who wants to talk. I'm pretty knowledgeable on a lot of things and not on a whole bunch of things. So I'm here to learn or teach or discuss, argue, conspire. It gives us all something to do and to sit down and relax at the end of the day. So yeah, like, comment, and or subscribe if you're a person doing a thing, as we all are. think we're about a third to halfway through our upper leg. Yeah, we're getting close to halfway through this upper leg. I need to keep hanging right a little bit. I think we're going to kind of be aiming for up there somewhere. But either way, we're still kind of heading along the right course-ish area. We kind of deviated a bit for rain, so that's no big deal. And I do think these things have better range than this. This is probably just me flying at 77, 78, 80% torque, you know. Really asking for speed and fighting a headwind. There is a optimal speed, but I'm not too interested in that right now. We're fighting the sunset as we are. Ooh, we can actually see the Bravo up here on the EFB. That's nice. Good sign. Of course, that's not the airport that we're going to, but the airport that we're going to, I believe, is under the Bravo also. So, very neat. We're just fighting the sunlight as we can. As the time goes on and we start getting further and further west in our journey, we'll, of course, differ in different times, because I feel like most of my streaming will be done at this time of the night anyways. Evening time here in Eastern Time Zone, Georgia. But, like I said, I'd like to try to fly live as much as possible. So there will be times where I have to get on earlier or stay up later, depending on where we're at. Because, like I said, I'd much rather be live with live traffic. Any other live players online, where if you guys want to come in and follow and grief around, you're more than welcome to. Just want everybody to be friends and have a good time, you know. I wonder what town this would be. Murfreesboro? That would make sense. I think that's kind of in this zone or area. Readjust that there. Sometimes I like it to be centered on the aircraft itself on the screen. Sometimes I'd rather it be looking ahead to where we're going. MTU 51. Crossing a pretty major road right here. It's got intersections, so not controlled access. Just a state highway or something. But going ahead and shouting out to anybody watching after the fact, thanks for finding me. Welcome to episode 1 of who knows how many. I'm assuming this is going to be around a 300-hour flight, starting from Hampton, McDonough area in Georgia and ending back up there, going westward around the world. Planning 3 to 4 hours per flight. So this may end up being a 100 episode series. If so, welcome to episode 1 of the watch through. Good on you. Feel free to comment. I'll reply to as many comments as I can, as I'm still not exactly a large YouTuber. I've got plenty of time and plenty of bandwidth to talk to you and say hey. And if you want to catch up live, subscribe. I'll be trying to stream this every night, unless you're catching this a year or two from today. Then not quite the case. But these should all be saved on YouTube. I think YouTube's going to be saving lives. They don't do the Twitch thing. The Twitch thing where they don't save the lives, or they only save it for like 6 months or whatever. But it's nice, because I'd rather them save these, because I kind of feel like this is a neat series where somebody can go back through and watch a legitimate simulator helicopter circumnavigation of the Earth. I do plan on doing some other series. I want to do a Pan-American flight where I go from either the northernmost tip of Alaska down to the southernmost tip of Argentina, I believe would be the bottom one down there. Or south to north, either one. I'd like to do an African tour, I'd like to do an Asian tour, European, Scandinavian. I like to hit a lot of places and explore, because I mean we have a one-to-one scale model of the world here with relatively accurate photogrammetry to whatever's here. So why not take advantage of that? Why not use this as a chance to explore and see what's out there, you know? Looks like a school or something here. Baseball fields, parking. Decent parking lot and parking stuff there, so I'm going to assume it's a high school. It's got to be. Because if they have kids driving to school, they're going to need that extra parking. Let's see where it has our brackets at. Over there somewhere. Yeah. But we're getting up into the Bravo airspace. We are moving along, guys. I'm pretty happy with this second half. Who knew flying in a straight line is the fastest way to get somewhere? Because it was about the same distance on our first half of the flight. Look how big this damn tower is right here. Holy shit. Let's do an out-of-ground effect hover at the top of this tower. That looks like something that would be fun to do. This is definitely something that would have been assembled by helicopters, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know of any other way that this would have been assembled. If you know of another way, please let me know. But I believe this had to have been a helicopter, probably not unlike what we have here. These sections aren't that heavy, I don't think. Or at least they shouldn't be, because it's not a freestanding tower. It's a guy wire tower. Supported, whatever you'd like to say. I don't know what the terminology is. But she is high up here, boys. Holy crap. We are well over 500 foot above ground level here. It's probably around the 700 foot tower. Holy crap. Why is your light not working? Anyways, let's sidestep that and get out of here, because I see some rain and such ahead. I don't plan on going around this. It looks like it's going to be too much of a hassle to go around, so we're going to be going through. Let's check our radar here. Yep, we're not going around that. Luckily the visibility doesn't look bad. Looks more sprinkly. So we should be able to play this alright. Throw some more power here and put some speed. Push forward. Get us down to the 500 to 700 foot range above ground. And we'll start chooching along. We are at full forward cyclic right there. There we go. We are moving now. 140 knots airspeed, 125 over the ground. Let's go. Forward 120's over there, so we've passed that, buddy. Adjusting my goggles, give me a second. Also, I do know that sometimes this, the headset can be very jerky for the stream. I do run a stabilizer on it. I've been trying to work out the settings to figure it out as I can, but it's not perfect. So if you happen to know about that, know any of the settings or suggestions for that, please let me know, and we can adjust that for a future thing. But a lot of that's necessary. Even though I don't move my head much, me talking does move the headset around. So moving my eyes up and down is doing that, or moving my brow, really. My eyebrows will affect that. Also, I wish there was a way to like clean the windshield here. I know I have wipers, but they don't do anything for the windshield. I believe that's oop. Yeah, still dirty. Oh well. JPH615, I can't see what you're flying. You're my next closest friend here. Looks like you're heading south, probably. Oh, we're kind of skirting the rain a little bit here. That's not too bad. We need to keep a little bit of altitude just in case there is a tower that we're not going to be familiar with. Zoom in a little bit. Give me more in on the map. Cool. Cool. We're actually near the Whistling Diesel compound, somewhere around here, I believe. But I'm not going to dox him. That's his own thing. It's kind of like the the southern Nashville hill country, if you want to imagine that. Got a good piece of property out here. A lot of people hate on him. Although some of his content's a bit, I don't want to say edgy. I've never been a party person or into chasing that lifestyle. I know there's a lot of people that are wealthy without that. But that's what he wants, that's what he does, you know, and he pushes hard. Dude is driven, you will have to give him that. Even if you don't like him or agree with him on anything, he is a driven individual. And that's pushed him a long way. He's done really, really good for himself because of that. Dude, now we're just looking at not live traffic, but replayed traffic. Stuff coming in. I think the JPH is actually a person. There's usually stuff that are capital letters. If it's a Microsoft Vision Jet complete seating, yeah. Looks like he might be heading this way. So we might see him, but he might be landing at the International also, so who knows. But yeah, Cody Detweiler, very driven individual. And it makes me happy to see people who are driven, who are actually pushing for making good content, quality content. It may not be your style, but you can't argue its quality. It's better than a lot of stuff I've seen TV studios push out. A lot more exciting. So, good on him. Looks like much heavier rain up here. That's just bad rendering this far out. Rainbows are popping back up behind us. Adjust my seating a bit. I will definitely need a new seat before this series is over. This is comfy, but I don't know if it's comfy for this long of a stint. Oh, if, for those of you that are curious, I'm using an Apache Simulators R44 setup, so I have the same stick collective and pedals and such as a Robinson R44. And when I say the same, I mean the same-ish style. It's the T-bar shaped handle, which we'll be doing it over 66 day here eventually, depending on where we're flying at, what day it is, etc. But it's that T-style bar and cyclic, very basic collective, basically just two bent metal bars as pedals, kind of like it is here. That's what I'm running as my peripherals. I have a Meta Quest 3, not the 3S. I got this a couple months before the 3S came out. PC running a 4070 Ti Super, because I read that that's similar performance to what the 3090 was of the previous generation, which I know a lot of people ran super high graphics, not in VR, and decently high stuff in VR. So that's what I wanted, that's what I chased. Higher graphics is not giving me any plus or minus on my experience here. You know, like, sure, it gets jittery sometime closer to the ground. That all depends on internet speed and stuff of the day anyways. So I'm not chasing crazy frame rates and numbers and stuff like that. Let's go and give a fake call to our airport up here. I forget the name of it. Nashville Executive Airport, we'll go with. Nashville Exec, this is helicopter November 61351. We are 7 miles to the southeast, straight in for signature. Helicopter, or Nashville Executive. And we'll have general clearance to continue in at this path or whatever they tell us, but we're just going to go straight in. We're not playing the ATC game. That's not something I'm interested in right now. We're just trying to make it around the world. But to add on to that also, the reason I got this, or built the gaming PC, purchased the simulator setup, was I'm looking to fly helicopters in real life. That's something I'd want to do. I'd like to get out of the film industry. And part of that for me is avoiding this heavier rain here. But I want to do something challenging. And what helicopter flying is a very challenging skill to have. I want to fly where I can have a good view of the hills and everything. But yeah, helicoptering is a difficult skill from everybody that I've heard, or at least starting. Once you learn how to do it, it's not that bad. But that's a difficult thing to do, and there's different levels of difficulty too. You can become somebody who's very proficient at hovering and your normal point A to point B flight, and that's great. That could be all you do forever, and you could be the world's best tour pilot going from point A to point B, and there you go. Look at this tower up in front of us. Wild. We're going to throw some real altitude at here real quick. So yeah, you could be the world's best tour pilot, point A to point B, and never have to worry about doing anything much more than that. But there are other paths of employment while doing helicoptering. You could do utility work, where it's stuff like assembling these towers by hanging heavy weight from the bottom of your helicopter. You could be doing power line work, where you're hovering next to live power lines, power poles. That's kind of all under the utility aspect. That's the same thing with bucket work or long line work, to where you're moving stuff in the mountains or somewhere that's not easily reachable by by normal things, normal vehicles or places or whatever, where you're moving weight, external loaded. A lot of that falls under utility, which is very technical flying. Even firefighter, fire pilots, those are usually classified under utility. So that's a very hard and difficult thing to do when you're talking about skill-wise. External load's a completely different way of learning. A lot of it's looking out a bubble window and flying while looking down, which mostly they teach you to fly looking out ahead. Even hovering, when you're on the ground, you're looking 50 feet out in front of you. So that's a big thing to learn and figure out. I'd love to get into utility. I think it sounds like an amazing job to stay challenged and on your toes. You can look at other stuff like medical flights, which, although they may not be the most technically challenging in the hovering near live power line aspect, you have a lot of stuff that you need to deal with anyways. Your helicopter will more or less always be loaded to capacity, with your flight nurses, with paramedics, with a doctor, with you, with fuel, and with patients. So you have to get in and out of places with an extremely heavy load, flying in a lot of different types of weather. You're allowed to turn down stuff. If it's raining and thunderstorm outside, you're not on a mission to save somebody. It's more of a considered a flight request for you to come in and be an air ambulance, really. If you can't make it, you can't make it. It's just the fact of it. HEMS, Helicopter Emergency Medical Services, I believe is what it stands for, is not a guarantee you have a bad accident. It's a service that can be offered if the conditions are right for that. Let's turn this up to night. Is that going to be any brighter? No. I want day. They don't get brighter than that. That sucks. Yeah, so you can turn down flights if the conditions aren't right. But still, conditions can change places, and you can be forced to deal with those on the fly, to deal with unapproved landing areas in different places, small fields, yards, working around power lines and stuff, and having to fly into what can be small airports and hospitals and such. So it has its own set of challenges. Also, there's a lot of regulation outside of the FAA that goes into medical flights, such as different providers, operators, companies. They have their own ways that they want you to fly, want you to do approaches. There's a lot of different things that way. So where do we want to land here? I'd kind of scouted it out by view yesterday. We're just going to say they give us keep east of the active. We're going to come over here and we're going to land at one of these hangars over here. Oh, almost lost sound there for a second. At least. Is there oh, the river there? Yeah, the sim also shows boats for some reason. Keith Doss, yeah, those are boats. So anyways, yeah, this is a helicopter, whatever. Keep east of the active. Goodness, he's cooking. Keep east of the active, direct to your hangar. Nashville Executive. Let's go. I don't think they have anywhere that's like a, I mean, I'm sure there's a signature flight services or something here. We're just going to consider it being like the ramp right there. Going straight into the ramp, fellas. As long as we're keeping east of the active. At our own risk. Lowering the collective, back on the cyclic sum, doing a slow stop, not a quick stop. It's a smooth stop and descending approach here. I've got the speed that I want to maintain for right now. We're going to keep it above 50 until we get over this parking lot. Then we're going to start slowing it down to about a 20 knot forward movement. We're going to park in front of whatever this square 2-story building is, kind of to the right. I'm going to assume that's going to be our signature flight support or something along those lines. When I say sound, don't leave me here. People want the sound of the turbine. Look at all these float planes. Sometimes I wonder how they pick what's going to spawn in here. Is there like an obvious helipad spot area? Who's using this as a fucking parking lot, I'll tell you that. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna... I want a spot that I remember to spawn in tomorrow. I don't want to be the fuel box. And we'll just do whatever's right over here next to the fuel box. Same down. I'm going to do a left pedal turn and face this way to keep my tail out of the way for everybody. That plane is already in flight. Look at her go. Look at all the bugs on the windshield. I'll tell the little ramp kid to clean this up while we're taking a break for the night. Okay, we're on the ground, collecting down. Keep the cyclic still. Brought this back to idle. Lost our sound there, but I want to hear the shutdown, so we're going to pause and come back in. Let's get rid of you. Don't want to look at you. Let that cool down. We'll go through a more detailed shutdown process here. Just because why not? Actually, let's do it by the book. Post-flight, engine shutdown, cyclic center, twist grip idle, pilot, home and landing. I've already got my lights off after coming in here. Yep, because I've got a landing light button on my cyclic. Let's see, can we click these? Yeah. Engine starting selector off. Generator off. Rotor brake when below 140 RPM or 170 in high wind conditions. Guess what? We are not in high wind conditions right now. So we are going to wait. While we're waiting, once again, thank you for watching. Today was only a 2.5 hour sort of thing. I think I started streaming 7:30. It's just now 10:30, so 3 hour thing, but we weren't flying for all of that because of very slow loading times today with the sim. Sean, Berlin, thank you for watching. Thanks for commenting and chatting and keeping me busy. Everybody else, like, comment, subscribe, and do those normal things. We'll be doing this for another 100 days or so. Trying to make our way all the way around the world. We'll be doing different helicopters, different sightseeings, maybe even throw a few scenarios in there, here or there. And it looks like we're below the 140 right now, so we can go ahead and pull that back. Let that bring us all the way to a stop. If this was real, I would feather it to kind of hold my blades in a better place. But they actually stopped about where I'd want them anyways, so very cool. Rotor can be braked if rotor speed in R is below that. Cool. Rotor has stopped. Anti-collision lights off. Horn, we'll turn that off. Avionics off. Pitot heat off. And we can turn the master battery off as well. And that is it for today. Let's walk back and look at this, at what we've done. Look at all the bugs on the front, goodness. Oh, so yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow most likely. Same-ish time. Starting off at the same place. And we'll get into it. We'll go from here. Let me check my map real quick that I have planned out on my phone. Can I EFB any of this? Nope. So what we'll do, we'll end this flight. Now kind of show you what we're looking at for tomorrow or for the next stream. So today we made it all the way from down here all the way to Nashville up here. Let me go and mark this so we can see where we ended. So there's arrival. So yeah, we ended all the way up there from being all the way down here at says departure. So that was our path today, but we did jump up to Atlanta. We went up and visited a friend, saw a place. We stopped up here just west of Chattanooga in the Jasper-Kimball area and continued up here. Tomorrow, my goal is to make St. Louis. So St. Louis is up here. Looks about similar-ish length. I don't have much planned for in between. There is one place I would like to see called Garden of the Gods, which is around here somewhere. But we'll figure that out tomorrow. It'll probably be a 2-stop thing as well, or a 1-stop thing where we'll fly up, stop, get fuel, or fly up, see Garden of the Gods, get fuel, then continue on to St. Louis. From St. Louis, we'll be going straight across Missouri to hit Kansas City over here. I assume, yeah, Wheeler's downtown there. I think we're stopping at Johnson County Executive there. Should be a longish flight going straight across the state. From there, going up and coming up here to the northwest corner of the country. This is, of course, not tomorrow. This is a bit in the future. Coming up here once we hit Anchorage International up here, Ted Stevens. We'll cross McKinley, hit a couple little places over here. We may jump that water there. And this is where we're going to cross. I think we're going to do this right here. Because it's... I don't know if it's worth it to come up here and then come back down. When we can make that jump, we do have the range. Which actually, since we're here, let's go ahead and throw big helicopter on. We can do a little bit of preemptive planning. I'm going to throw this thing as full of fuel as we can and set different places to departure from. And we can see what our range looks like. Because I've been kind of guessing the east coast of Russia is very slack as far as places to land. Fuel, saving back, that's more or less topped off. Saving back. Set as departure. So yeah, that gives us plenty of room there. Gonna delete arrival here. Just get rid of this. Cool. So that gives us plenty of range to jump that. The big thing is once we get over here, there is a significant lack of places to go. Some of these are just heliports, which I want to land at airports. And I'll be cross-referencing these, and I think we're going to go from there to there, come down, but there we go, there's South Korea, but I want to jump into Japan over here, so I think we're going to do this crossing down there. But this stretch right here is going to be deadly, to say the least. Looks like they have a ramp. Cool, they have a runway there. Let's set this as a So the 225 may end up being our friend here just to do these. There are some bigger jumps here from what I've seen. I want to go down through Japan. There's a chance I want to jump to South Korea, but I would do more South Korea exploring if we came down through China and North Korea. I really don't want to do that. I would rather use my laser pointer. I would much rather come down through the Japanese island chain, do some sightseeing, come down this southern chain here, jump from Taiwan over, then work our way through here, maybe a bit kind of in the northern Thailand area. I'd love to skirt the Himalayas on the north side of India, come through, hit Afghanistan's, look at some war things, talk about some stories from not me but others. And we have a couple of options here. I kind of want to hit the pyramids, and I kind of want to hit Benghazi, but I don't want to have to go all the way over here to then go up north through Europe. So I come over here to Benghazi. Let's just say set as departure. I have plenty of gas. And the 225 even. Let's just pick a... Let's just say we're doing the 206. Let's throw a full tank of fuel in there. Let's see where that puts us at. Because I don't want to do the 225 just whenever we're... all the time. That's just kind of like my get out of jail free card for big fuel jumps. So Benghazi, we could still make this jump even if we need to feign having a ferry tank to get across that. Don't really want to touch Gaza Strip or anything. But relatively boring here, fly. But either way, it's going to be a jump up there. Then we can hit Greece, Hungary, Romania, a lot of the places over here. Pop over to Italy, hit around here, move north through the UK. Maybe stop at an oil platform, top off on fuel, come up here. Let's see if the 206 can make this jump. I know they've done it in real life, but yeah, 206 can get us there. .206 can make that, but is there anything over here to make it 2? Yeah. That doesn't quite get us across the island. Is that an airport? What is that? What are you? Oh, that's a landmark. So we may have to do another helicopter or play the coastline. But we might just do something with bigger tank, bigger capacity. This will be one here. Getting across this gap is going to be a big one because there's really nothing around here. We'd have to take off from here. This is kind of the jump point. So we could feign having the ferry tank because it's more than likely to have a ferry tank if you're doing something like this. It's just kind of understood. And for an extra third of the distance. Of course, I think by this point we'll learn what the helicopters are actually capable of. It says because there's going to be some straight days. There's going to be some days where we are not sightseeing a damn thing. So if we can do a straight line and see how well we are with actual fuel, if our fuel tanks only get us here, well sure, then half of a tank of fuel worth of ferry and an additional bladder in the back is understood to be a thing. And then from there, it's relatively easy to jump back down and come through. But today, we didn't do bad for one day. Atlanta to Nashville, one little fuel stop. No big deal. We had a big headwind all day of at least 15 to 20 knots. So, yeah, it's been fun. I will see you guys tomorrow, and we can do this again. You know, we can go have some fun. A little bit more. I'm Matt. I'm tagged in both places.